All right. Stuff posted. Probably get to it. So we're going to be batch painting today. It should be pretty good. Get the playlist for people over on Twitch going. There we go. So something I did a little afterwards was actually getting in the jets and exhausts. Decided to go green to kind of match the little flame type stuff that the Bleak Brotherhood has. There's more details to be done, but at the batch stage, we kind of have the gist of like, this is what cloth's going to look like, this is what armor's going to look like. I think the main component I'm still a little on the fence about is what the little tubing is going to look like. If I even want to, I guess, get in there and adjust it. Maybe we just leave it black. Let's do it. Step one, it's probably going to be deep blue. We've got to hit all the highlighty parts on the armor with it. But yeah, deep blue. It's kind of the starting semi-dark blue that we want to use. I already did Drakenhof on it. That is that chrome with Drakenhof shade on it. And that was kind of a key thing about the Bleak Brotherhood. Their chest, like the chest strap armor, and their backpacks are like chrome silver. So like we're doing the trim and such in bolt gun metal. So it's like a nice darker bolt gun metal. But for some reason, in all of like the artwork and suggestions I've seen of Bleak Brotherhood, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, their backpack is like ultimate chrome. And so is the straps on their chests, holding the pack on. Very peculiar. But it is what it is. So we're going with it. And yeah, we do. Once I get the silver on, all the silver components get hit with Drakenhof shade. It's a very stark difference in the actual picture of them, too. And again, it is... You don't really get it here because his straps are tubes, but I also did the middle thing in the same chrome. So, like, the middle part of his chest hard chrome, backpack, hard chrome, Drakenhof, and then yeah, bulk gunmetal on all trim. Including this. I actually did the bulk gunmetal on the trophy rack, which on these, I'm going to do the same thing. The backpack's going to be chrome, but then these outer components, the like mini warp talon wings, these are also going to end up being bulk gunmetal. So they're a bit darker. But yeah, that's specifically the Bleak Brotherhood's thing. They really like bright colored backpacks. And chest armor strapping, which is a bit more apparent on this variant. This was the first semi-test. Technically, they don't do trim color. They're supposed to just leave their armor black, but God, that looks awful. I mean, it's basically this. But I saw a few people hyper focus in on making their trim like a bulk gunmetal. And I kind of saw that and went like, yep, that's what we're doing. Because dear God, the alternative looks utterly horrible. Because there's too much trim on Raptors. It'll probably look fine on like more standard like Legionary or something, but the moment you get into models that are just like, yo, I'm covered in trim, I think going pure black armor without trim color is pretty gross looking. So I've got a packed in weekend. 2v2 at my buddy's house. Going straight from that into a kill team tourney, which we still have to make the paperworky stuff for. I might try to send my local print shop the PDF of all like the quick info stuff for the Chaos Cult, so I can get that printed up before the tourney on some nice sheet card. Make sure I didn't miss stuff on this guy. We also need to figure out what type of weapon colors we want to go with. Basic blues. How we doing this over here? Maybe we'll... There is trim. And then there's a face. And then there's tubing in the mouth of it, which we'll probably treat as trim. Watched a video going over a lot of the Golden Demon winners, or the Golden Demon winners rather. Stuff looks ridiculous. There's a guy that was like pure texture. It seems to be like the winning factor in a lot of models that get built. is like how many individual semi-readable brushstrokes can you do to create the texture you need. Stuff looks crazy. Okay, Francois. I mean, I don't know. I have no reference. Nah, I saw the old Space King stuff. I haven't really looked into the new stuff. I think the next step for this might be to actually go model to model with the tiny brush that I got and do all their eye lenses real quick. That way, if it messes up, I can just go right back over it with the blue. Dude, we've got a lot to go on these Raptors. The main one I'm pointing to is like the style option, I guess, like the style sheet. My Chaos Lord, he's not even done. I still got to put the texture pastes down. We got a lot to do. We're gonna try to get a lot of the core elements together. Yeah, we're going to be doing a very mechanical batch paint here. Just to get them all up to a base level. I can't imagine we're going to get like all of it done today. Like the core batch painting. We'll probably get the armor done. At best, maybe we get the trim done, because the trim is going to be a two-stage thing involving me going through and actually remarking a lot of the trim. We'll be hitting it with some matte black, because we want to apply bolt gun metal to it, and you don't really want to apply bolt gun metal to a non-dark surface unless you have a specific stylistic concept in mind. And then we gotta really think about the weapon colors. Because if the trim is bolt gun metal, I hate doing weapon colors in the same metal. I mean, I get that it's fine for the most part, but like... I don't know. It's a little too basic. Maybe we just chevron, because chevrons are always cool to look at, regardless of who the chevrons are on. We can even do like non-yellow black chevrons. We could do like black red or... like some other variant of the standard chevron. There's gonna be so many stupid Raptors. Dude, again, I can't wait for the rules to come out and for me to go like, oh, I don't want to play these. Like, it's gonna be great. Have the rules drop and just be like, oh, I guess I'll stick with my mandrakes. I mean, I wanted them to kind of have the witness me feel. I feel like that's more Goremongers, though. Like, if someone plays Goremongers, they should really do a Half-Life Boys, like, style paint scheme. Black eyeliner, chrome face. Speaking of which, for the tournament this Sunday, opponent lists are up. My first round is against Goremongers' Chaos Cults. Even if there's more to paint going forward this week, most likely starting tomorrow, if I am to stream, it's going to be opponent overviews, strategy concepting. Just like last time, the whole goal is to get to a point where I kind of know the missions I can pick, the positives and negatives based on map and opponent. We got a lot to think about. Oh no, I'm playing Chaos Cults. I'm not playing Warp Coven. I see potential in the Chaos Cults. There's just a lot of downside to using them as well. I have to change my thought process versus where it was back when I was playing them in the last edition, because the cultists, when they transform, would heal. That was probably one of like the strongest elements out of any team that I knew at that time. The ability to run in, be horrible, do a little bit of damage, survive, and then fully heal and become something worthy of combat. It was such a cool idea. But it was so, like, you couldn't really counterplay it. So I gotta look at the missions a little more. We haven't really played too many games in the new season. I think I've played one total so far. Against literally the person I'm about to play into. Who, locally speaking, is like one of the small handful of people who would actually be considered very kill team competitive. Like, a lot of the other people are still a little too new. So we'll have to see. Do like me some Chaos Cults, though. Pure Horde. Decent burst and crazy, like, awkward damage. Like, the cults have a surprising amount of damage potential. The shell game of moving a bunch of cultists forward and then just mutating them up. The mobility potential out of them allows you to get into the enemy backline literally in turn 2 with big monsters, which is the crazy part. It's not even like, oh, let me hit you with this like little thing here. No, it's you're about to experience the horror. Curse Claw. There's a pretty good spread of players, though, in terms of like teams and whatnot. Should make for some interesting games. Granted, it's going to be great going from playing 2v2 40k, like a bunch of rounds of it supposedly, over the course of a day and a half. Getting really into those rules, thinking about their interactions, thinking about how, certain statistics work back and forth. Getting excited about that, and then having to go immediately to kill team. Let's see. Battleclade. So that'll be fun. We're going to have to look into that. Because I know kind of how they work, but I don't know the specifics. Corsair Voids Guard. I mean, it's Corsair Voids Guard. I know how the Voids Guard worked. Brood Brothers, which is always cool. I'll have to see what they're bringing to the table. Rekka Crew. Of course, my first round against Goremongers. And then we got Felgors, and out of nowhere, out of left field, never expected to see them, even though, to my understanding, they're not half bad. Hand of the Archon. Hand of the Archon might do really well into me. Because I'm pretty sure they're still built around their old system of needing to, like, do damage or kill people in order to gain power, and they'd be fighting me with all my cultists. Where 80% of my strategy is, yeah, I get the point, but then you kill the unit. And then next thing you know, I'm dealing with hyper-empowered Dark Eldar. And it's not great. So we'll have to take a look at that. Now the assumption is also that every single map is going to be represented. Vulcus, Beta Decima, Tomb World, Gallo Dark. And the organizer did say we're going to be playing on every single map. Now, that might not actually happen, because once you start matching up after the fact, I don't know how. Like, if I'm about to play someone who didn't play on the map that I played on, and it's like the last round, I'm going to be back on that map, right? Or is it just like, rather than the win path type thing, are they just going to make me play against every single person in a loop where we do actually get to play on all the maps, and then against a bunch of new players, but without, like, win path? Which could be not great, depending. Because between me and the person I'm supposed to be playing right away, like, we have such an intrinsic knowledge of Kill Team that if one of the new players gets, like, hit by us, it could be pretty bad for them. We'll do the eye lenses after this guy, just so we can get them in. Some fun eye lens stuff. Base level blues. Let's grab this lime green and my tiny, tiny, tiny baby brush. Get these lenses done. Baby brush. Brace for impact. Hell yeah. Haley. I like either of those. Eye lenses. All right, second tier of blue. This needs to be applied more like a texture, like back and forth line scratching. pretty sure Raptors and Helldrakes are like semi-linked. To my understanding, like part of the tech forum sort of does come from the Thousand Suns, in particular the Warp Talons. Thanks, John. Only support though, no conversation, right? We can talk about random stuff. I know I'm on Spawncast, and this is kind of like me chilling. So like talking games and stuff, always cool. Like this is hobby time. This is basically shoot the shit time. Which is always the ideal. We might game later though. Specifically over on Twitch. Maybe. I don't know. I finally got it set up. But the question is, do I want to? We could keep pushing through on Arc. That could be fun. I could install Hell Let Loose. Although that's a little risky. It's been cool at times. And then other times people just start yelling gamer words. So it's a little hit or miss. Which I think they do as like a defense mechanism. There used to be a fairly large community of streamers that would play the game live. And people started noticing things when those streamers were in their games. Like somehow the enemy would know where the resource nodes were. They would also find out fun things like, man, this artillery is really accurate for the sides we're approaching from. And that's when it all clicked. People were just watching streamers play, getting the information for enemy movements from their streams, and running it through the filter of, hey, drop Artie here. And the way you tend to combat that for a lot of people is by forcing them to break TOS. Which is funny. Still, though, I love the hell out of that game. I think after we do the blues, I'm gonna get the chrome baseline on. So I'm getting the best of it. I do really hope that they give us access to more than one Warp Talon per kill team. It's kind of why we're building 2. But yeah, I do wonder how intrinsically tied to Warp Talons the Thousand Suns are. Because these little things you're supposed to put on them, the little like Warp Talon-y extenders, they're completely styled like the Helldrakes, which are supposedly very Thousand Sun in origin. In the video I watched going over all the Golden Demon winners, every single time the guy going over like all the paint schemes and stuff and the processes and talking about the person behind them, because I mean they're a painter and they know a lot of the other painters. Every single time he was like, I'm pretty sure this, he said this one took him 5,000 hours. I was like, oh Jesus Christ. Every time. Oh, he said this one was at least 2,000 hours. It's like, alright. These psychopaths. Weirdly, the Golden Demon contest does like a little bit of harm to the general hobby. Like a little bit. It's not like a serious thing. And it usually gets like easily rectified. But there's a lot of people I know who, when I bring up them maybe playing the game, they point to the Golden Demon winners. Like the high end, this is kind of their job, multi-thousand hour paint schemes. And they're like, I don't want to paint like that. So, like, I don't really want to play because if I'm supposed to paint like that, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Take a step back. You absolutely do not need to paint like that, please. Don't hyper focus on that. It is a bit crazy. I'm noticing a lot of the tournament goers from my local shop, our little group. A lot of them are being more vocal about putting in the effort to use like little chess clocks. Like a lot of them have ordered them. There is a level to it. Like I wish I had the confidence like the Death Guard player I went against. The one that was like top 3 Northeast. Like when that guy walks over, and he has a buddy who he plays a lot, who's also like one of the higher up Chaos Space Marine players. One of the people who was really running that adapted, what was it, like 4-up Invuln, Abaddon plus the actual gateway. The terrain piece gateway, and then just like 120 cultists. That's what he ran. That was his list. It was very hard to beat. Had like 3 predators in the back. So that was his buddy. And whenever I do tournaments up in like the PA area, that's where they go. So I ran into the Nurgle player, the Death Guard player. And the confidence when he walked over to just put the clock on the table and like roll to start, like roll who sees who sets up, and then immediately hit the clock for whoever's time it is. Because like it was weird. I've always wanted to do that, but I always have that thing in the back of my head where I'm like, oh, if I do that, I'm going to be an asshole. But then this guy did it, and I didn't feel like he was being an asshole. It was just like straight up like, yep, this is what we're doing. Like there was that like that experience of like, oh yeah, we're supposed to be doing this. If I can start doing that a little bit in 40K, I think I'd be a little bit happier. The sheer quantity of people who just eat clock time. And the main reason everyone's doing it is, I think there was like a recent big tournament. There was, I want to say a Sisters player at it, who is kind of known for taking forever in all of their choices. And doing a lot of like, hey, I need to take that back because it doesn't work. I don't want to do that. And at least a relatively large tournament that one of the people I know that likes to be pretty competitive goes to, he ran into this Sisters player and lost literally because they didn't use a clock. The round timer ran out. I think it was like turn 4, top of turn 4, which meant the Sisters player got to use a turn 4. And he didn't. So he got a bunch of points at the end and then just won. And it's like, see, because I think that was on stream that this happened. I think it was War Games Live that he did this on. Or one of the channels, at least. So now the conversation locally is just like, yeah, we gotta use chess clocks. They're starting to try to normalize it into like casual games too. They're like, all right, let's try to see if we can chess clock this game out. I kind of want to start doing it too. I even want to do it for the Kill Team stuff, because I know the rounds we're going to be doing this Sunday for Kill Team is 2 hours a game. And I'm playing Cultists, which means I need a lot of time. And either I might screw up, right? Like, I might push too hard on the time and basically take time away from my opponent. I don't feel like I did that with my Mandrakes, but that's a 9-man team, I think. It's like 8 or 9-man. I think it was 9-man. Because you don't use one of the warriors that comes in the box. But I'm about to use a 14-man. Although, technically, the Blessed Blades equal 1. And then 9 of the Cultists equal 1, although 2 of them become something separate. So, I wonder how many activations I gotta think about turn 1. There's next to no way for me to mutate more Cultists unless my opponent does something really stupid. So out of 14 people, 14 goes down to 13 from just the Blessed Blades. If the Blessed Blades are within 6 inches of each other. It is good to start thinking about doing clock play. Maybe start at 2.5 and then go to 2. Just because that is part of it. You need to be good enough to make decisions. If you're playing a casual game, like an absolutely casual game, to try to maximize your understanding of movement and strategics, take all the time you want. Absolutely. Because the more you do that, the more you can normalize that thought in the time frame based missions. Like tournament play stuff. But yeah, so 14 goes to 13. You got 9 Cultists, which technically equals 4 activations. Because it's technically 8 at GA2. I think, no. So this is 4, so this is 5. It's 5 activations. But 2 of them become mutants ASAP. So those are kind of cut off. Leaving 7, so 3 to 4... So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 11 activations on average. Turn 1 for the Chaos Cults. With the Blessed Blades doing their combo activation. And with all the GA2 cultists. Technically not the worst, but trying to think of what to do with both cultists every time you activate one is actually a little annoying. Because you don't quite know, like, do I activate the cultists that are next to each other? Do I do these 2 over here to spread it out a little bit? It's a lot. Yeah, definitely start playing with a timer. I gotta start doing it too. My worry is I've had my timer in my bag for like months now, and there's always this sinking idea where it's like, well, if I use it now, maybe the battery's almost dead, so like we'll get halfway through the mission and then the timer will die. I can't really think like that. I should also probably buy some more D batteries. I mean, if you're playing Horde teams, you should probably be getting really used to a clock. At least before tournament play. Wonder if I last minute change to Hearthkin. Hearthkin are so bad. The salvagers. I feel like the other Hearthkin team's also pretty bad. Hearthkin has a big disadvantage in Kill Team, in particular because of their unit height. They're shorter than most walls in Vulcus. So like, it's very hard to get line of sight on them, and it's very hard for them to get line of sight on you. Yeah, we'll have to maybe pull the Hearthkin out at some point here. Or the Chaos Cults out. Probably starting tomorrow, like I said, we're going to start doing War Room streams where we sit down, we talk about the teams I'm going to be playing into. We go over all the elements of how to interact with them. Make sure we got all the Chaos Cult stuff together. I'm probably going to have to spend some time tonight writing up a sort of a cheat sheet page so I can keep track of all the upgrades and things that are currently active. Because again, there's I think like 5 or 6 enhancements the squad has, and the moment you use one, you can no longer use it for anything else. So if I command point enhance a regular unit with wings, I can't give the wings to everyone. So I need to kind of keep track of who has what. There's an element to the game of kind of wanting to have a torment on the field that has every upgrade. The 2 that you give all mutants, and then the like 5 or 4. Yeah, it's 2 for mutants, and then you give it by the end of the game. If you spend a command point every phase, you can give all 4 of the other upgrades to one person. Don't necessarily think that's important to do, but I know strategically it's a pretty good idea to at least have some of the stuff in your pocket, right? Like if you know you need a 7-inch move to be able to charge, that's when you need to spend to give one of your units like +1 inch to move, or maybe you enhance it and then give all of that tier of mutant +1 inch to move. if I win again, I'm buying the other Destreza, so I can make a Synetheza as my other Demon Prince with wings for my Emperor's Children. It's just the best option. The best plan. Alright, I think it's Chrome o'clock. Let's get into the Chrome Dome. The Chrome phase will be both the chroming and the night shading. That'll be the goal. This is a very liquidy chrome, so I'm going to use, rather than the wet palette, I'm going to use my little ADHD pop pusher. It's fantastic. But yeah. Vallejo, Model Air, Chrome. Awesome. And again, Bleak Brotherhood, the main places your goal is to put this area here in the chest. The straps heading to the backpack. And then the entirety of the backpack, although we are restricting it away from the expansion components to backpacks. We're also going to leave it off of the inner components of the backpack because we do go back to hit those areas with white and then lead that into the sort of like glowing internal components. In particular, if you haven't seen it yet. I actually had to go out and buy more chartreuse. We were out. No, yeah, this stuff is fantastic for paletting. Because once it dries, you just go over to your trash can and pop it all out. Super easy way to clean. I am using Model Air Chrome from Vallejo. And yeah, it goes on super smooth. It's kind of awesome. The first time I used it was as a sort of zenithal highlight on my buddy's Grey Knights, actually. I did a sort of like engine metallic. It was like a aluminum almost. And then I zenithaled it with the chrome, and it was so bright. And I was like, whoa. Are these pipes or these straps? These are pipes. So in the case of pipes, we actually let the pipes be. We still do the midsection in chrome. Then we get out here to the backpack. I've heard the chrome pens are usually like, I want to say, who was it? It was Miniac, and I think it was that like combo video they did. I'm trying to remember who the other person was. It was another one of the big tabletop channels. And they were doing like some quick, you know, I got to paint 2,000 points of Drakari in X amount of time situation. And they came together for a chunk of it. And apparently the chrome that I want to say Miniac used on his Drakari came from a pen. So that was kind of cool. Like the way they would do it is they would get like a palette and they would just push the pen down onto the palette so that the chrome paint came out. And it was like super expensive. It was a really expensive chrome pen. This is the same chrome I did my entire Vespid team in. My chrome pixies. It was this and then the pink yellow fluorescent for like the wings and the bellies. But that's kind of it. Like, I do like the Vallejo chrome. It's nice. But I think in order to get the chrome effect that I actually look for out of chrome, you have to kind of blend this with a shifter. Like, you need to do the chrome layer and then go back over it with a shifter layer. Because I like oily chrome. Like, I like the chrome that does, like, the blue-purple. Or, like, the orange-purple or something. So, like, by the end of painting stuff, if I really want to aim for that aesthetic of chrome that I enjoy, I'd have to use one of my shifters on top of this. But I think with this variance where we do the blue shader after the fact, it's okay. I don't really need to go too much further than that. I do just really like chrome that has shifter elements in it. Sort of builds it in. Because I think when Miniac took pictures and video of his Drakari army, he does what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you set lights up, you hit it with like a bunch of different lights. Like, you'll probably see a little bit of purple in this. It's because I got a purple light over there, like off to the side. You just hit it with like a couple alternate color lights, and it looks nice because that's kind of what chrome's supposed to do. It picks up the lighting of the world and kind of shows it that way. But if you do shifter on it, you kind of force it, which is a little interesting. You sort of force it to pretend like it's picking up lights that aren't there. So, like, let's say you have the chrome paint on and you're like, oh, the world that they're on is, you know, like red-blue or whatever. Get a red-blue shifter. You'll be in the tournament hall with the office-style lighting. People will look at your army and go, oh, crap, that's red-blue. So, chrome. Sort of. The trick is, if you, like, notice that it's going on a black base and you barely see any of the black. I think when it comes to that, like, the normal element with metallics, that there's the layer of glitter in a suspended solution that then gets applied over a color. I feel like chrome, specifically the chrome I'm using, doesn't really show the undercolor as much as it probably should. Like, I think this is like a very almost thick, flat color. So even if I color the undertone of this like pink or purple or whatever you want to do it as, I don't know if you'll see it as much as you should. I still think the particulate for the glitter might be too thin. Or like, too numerous. But the trick with the purple oil is you kind of want purple and blue. Which is why the shifter's so fun, because you can get purple blue shifter. You can also get purple orange shifter. Make it look like it's a constant sunset. Hell yeah. Pearlescent can work too, yeah. I've got pearlescent. I've got pearlescent that's specific too. I've got rose pearlescent, purple pearlescent. And then I have that more like all over pearlescent where it like hits many of the different colors. So it's like kind of a shifter. I usually do the pearlescent on my demons. I do like an undercolor on them, hit it with the pearlescent, and then I do the overcolor with a matte overcolor. That way the pearlescent only shows in the shadows, really. Because I'll sort of hit it monodirectionally with the flat. It gives a weird effect. Like, their shadows are, like, weird. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of Chaos Demons having an element about them on the field where it's like there's just something that goes against nature, right? Like they have to bring something to the field where it's not just like, oh yeah, they're just weird twisted flesh abominations. Adding an extra layer of like, are you sure they're even there? Because they're supposed to break the rules of the universe. Just makes it a little fun. Like, could you imagine meeting someone in real life where their shadow shimmers? With, like, weird colors? It'd be weird as hell. think my Eldar blades, usually what I do is, I want to say I do white base, like a matte white. I contrast pink on it, but I do it in that way where you kind of want the coffee staining, but you control the coffee staining. Right? Like you move it to places where you're like, ah, that'll look good there. And then once that's dry, I usually would hit it with like my violet pearlescent. Which looked okay. Honestly, it would probably be better doing that if you had like a very easy to control pearlescent. And you would hit like, let's say, are these pipes? These are pipes. You would hit specifically the edge. I like the idea of edge highlighting with metallics. Like to make the actual thing you're painting almost be non-metallic metal, or at least get what you want it to look like to actually fit, right? And then to hit specifically the edge with a metallic or a shifter. So the edge highlight is what shifts and changes based on angle and lighting. Pearlescent's a little hard to control for that though. You'd probably have to like mix it in with a color. Or maybe like a medium. Because I kind of did that with my Geller Pox, and it's still one of my favorite metallics I've ever done. I hit all their metallic components with basically Garrigax Sewer, right? I would just contrast it Garrigax Sewer, and then I would get Warp Lock Bronze. And I would specifically hit the edges. So the edges would glimmer depending on lighting, but the rest of it wouldn't. Four more to go. Chrome. I was debating streaming Dispatch. Kinda glad I didn't, cause like, I don't know. I don't really set my streams as like adult streams. Definitely a sex scene in the last episodes that I played. And it's like, ah, shit. Like the scramble that would have happened while streaming that over on Twitch to be like, oh, let me change scene real quick. Although they do have that TOS thing where as long as the game's cool on their list, they don't really mind it that much. But I think I still have to set my stream to adult, which I don't know if I did. I did for a while. I think I might have turned that off. Hell yeah. Huntmaster. Now we get the champion. Again, we kind of hope that when the rules get released, there's not a lot of variants of this champion. Because I did just fully glue them together and assumed Plasma Pistol Power Sword was the combo. In before you can give him like a Power Fist or dual Power Claws. Worst case scenario, we've got a second what the Warp Talon, there's the word. We got a second Warp Talon, so I could run a Warp Talon and a Warp Talon commander or champion. Because you do get way more specialists than the team has in scale. Which one's this? Warrior. Standard warrior. Mild potentiality that he might be useless, but a lot of teams with choices based on specialists or warrior units, there is usually a value in the warrior, at least when it comes to like holding objectives. And if that's the case and that's the goal, if your whole purpose is to hold an objective, then it is what it is. Is it 3:37? We're fine. I feel like at some point all the coats of paint you're adding, you'll be able to like peel them off. And if you do it just right, you'll have a freestanding leg. You could just build multiple of the same unit, just sheerly made by coated paint shells. The last of the basic chrome. And we'll go back through, get the Drakenhof wash on. play with the chrome around here because we do want it to look like mutated flesh growing off of the side. All right. Drakenhof Shade. Don't really want it to pull on the surface. We mostly just want it to get down into the recesses and cracks. This is not the Shadow Hunt box. This is me converting regular Raptors. There are key differences between the current Raptors and the new upcoming Raptors. But a lot of the basics are all still there. And I kind of want the team ready before Shadow Hunt drops. In a lot of the ways, the sculpts from Shadow Hunt are going to be better than mine. You know, I've got to do some things. But it was cool finding out that a lot of the Ozark Bone Reaper sizes for like their hands and stuff were the same. Because that is just an Ozark Bone Reaper hand. And a two-handed axe. So that's super fun. And I mean, they do make you use the Chaos Lord with Jetpack. I mean, that's just something you have to do if you want to go this route. I'm pretty sure he's going to be for like a 5-man variant of the 6-man team. So you just have to buy him. I feel like if you shrink wrap most of the molds, you're going to break a lot of stuff to like try to create the plastic mold to work off of. The pressure from the vacuum is probably the problem. Because some of those pieces are just too flimsy. I wonder if you can even get full detail, because usually the shrink wrappy stuff doesn't get to like the extreme detail. It just gets close. It's like rounding the edges. So there's probably some limits. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the Raptor kill team. I like all the little things they talked about with them. Their ability to pick enemies up, put them other places and stuff. Sounds really fun. Because if you have a plan for being where you are, maybe I prevent that plan. So, looking forward to that. Hopefully the rules are actually kind of good. Or at least fun. It's kind of the whole thing for me. If they're a little straightforward with not a lot going on, then might feel really sad. I do think I need to look into getting my hands on like a dog or wolf model, because I know the Space Wolves are getting their stuff, but a lot of the Space Wolf models in that squad just look like Phobos models, and I'm trying to find a way to keep my extreme collection of Phobos able to be played in Kill Team. Yeah, like potentially stuff like that. At the very least, the best thing you could probably do by moving units is have a unit out already and then have another unit pick up a nearby enemy and then bring him over to that other unit so you can get into assisted combat, basically. By forcing the opponent to move to like a whole other one of your people. Get that +1 to hit, probably swinging on 3s. This is my Shrieker. Shrieker has a helmet, as well as 2 noise pistols from the Emperor's Children boxes that I had extra parts from. Gotta make him look like he's just yelling, creating crazy sound. I think that's where Kill Team for me, with a lot of my older teams, is right now. Like, what can I use this as? Like, I'm sad we're losing Void Dancers. Which sucks, because I don't think we're going to be getting anything Void Dancer-esque back anytime soon. I'm gonna miss the space clowns. They were so decently unique. This guy's side. Champion. There are actually a lot of parts on the old Raptors I do think look better than the new ones. I like some of the elements of the new Raptors, like their legs are designed to be a little bit more like knee based, whereas these have those weird shin guard chunks that kind of limits the dynamic look. But the power sword the champion has in the picture looks like a regular ass power sword. Versus this, which actually looks really freaking cool. The chain swords look like regular old chain swords versus these chain swords that look sort of like actual swords with 2 parts that have chain sword elements attached to them. Like, these look really cool. I don't know. Some things are going backwards on the new Raptor sculpt, some things are going forwards. So it's pretty cool. So it's gonna be a while before I get my rolls. We gotta get the Tau stealth suits. I know a lot of people in our community are excited for that. I think the pre-order. No, the pre-order would be Saturday, or did the pre-order? No, yeah. I don't think the pre-order's gone through. Saturday is usually pre-order day, unless they're getting weird with it. But they like Saturday being pre-order day usually. Get people to go into the Games Workshop stores. Which, if the pre-order's Saturday, it's 2 weeks for the actual release, so end of November. If they drop the rules, that'd be awesome. But I don't think they do that. I think they usually drop it when the pre-order goes out. If they just drop the rules straight up, that's interesting. That kind of gives me hope for my Raptor team to have the rules before the actual release of the game, or the units. Which would be pretty cool. I mean, they'll do it. Don't make them. Don't make me do it. Oh. Twitch bot. Ayah. Huntsmaster conversion. His spear took a while. I'm highly surprised I got it to look like it did. Part of me probably should have just like looked into getting a brass rod and maybe trying to get some green stuff on it to look like wrapping or something, but no, I had to make it hard for myself. I probably could have one-handed speared it, but I really wanted him to have a spear in both his hands. So sizing this middle part, sizing the back part, making sure the front part came off properly. Ugh. Misery. Pure misery. o'clock. Where I think we're going to end it today is maybe after we get the interior ventilation on all the backpacks to be the glowing green color. I think that's where we'll call it for today's run of assembly line painting. So we've got at least maybe another hour. Might come back over on Twitch a little later with some gaming. I'm thinking about it. I gotta say, like, the wind in my sails for Ark has kind of... For Ark Raiders specifically, I guess I should say. Has kind of dulled knowing that it's built around a New Game Plus economy, but maybe it's not so bad. I mean, the alternative is you're gonna have a ton of people with way too much power, making all the new players feel like garbage. AKA the Tarkov method. That's why they do the seasonal releases and wipes. Gotta keep everyone within a relative power range. But maybe part of it is I would really like to play with other people. Like, this is still my thing where I'm like, ugh. It's interesting playing by myself, but like, it is a 3-player co-op game. I don't want to play with randos, though. I don't want to backfill. It is really interesting watching the social experiment of the game go forward, though. The amount of people who utilize the emote don't shoot. The fact that people are starting to use it and then shooting right after using it to try to give themselves the edge in combat by tricking someone into not attacking, which subsequently is going to make everyone else who uses the emote seem less friendly. Watch one of the streamers I like to watch. Goes by Sput. He was playing all day, I think yesterday, but he was actively like... He would walk over to people and be like, hi, and they were like, friendly? He was like, no, I'm definitely gonna shoot at you. Like, he was actively telling people, like, he gave them time. He was like, no, I'm gonna start shooting here in a second. I'm here to murder people. Like, that's what he would do. And everyone would be like, ha ha ha, that's super funny. And then he would just start shooting. Like, it was great. It's good. It's enjoyable. We might stream it over on our Twitch a little later. But I've also noticed a lot of people are utilizing the AI voiceover in it. They're making their voices basically the girl NPC voices, in hopes that that makes people a little more disarmed when they're interacting. It's kind of interesting. Again, it's super fun with like the social experiment of the game. But in the last couple rounds I've played, usually the people who pop up and are like, hey, let's be friends, let's be friendly. It's always a very clear female AI NPC voice. So, like, it makes you kind of wonder. People, like, kind of almost weaponizing it a little bit to be like, this will disarm people. Haha. Now, my method of disarming people is running around with the in-game instrument, the recorder, and just playing it. You know I'm coming because you hear the recorder coming around. It does sound cool, though. We're getting new enemies, I think, next month. Or this month, rather. Supposedly we're going to get that new map soon. The one that doesn't have any arc on it, but it's like the most brutal electrical storm. There's something supposed to be like really weird about it. So far I've solo killed a leaper. That was fun. My method for it is to get real close to it and tag it with 3 of those triggerable explosive bombs. Light that up, and then usually switch to another form of attachable bomb. So once it jumps at you, and you should start this in like a good enough place where it can't get to you necessarily. You once it lands, you just chuck a couple more of the explodey bombs and just take it out. Very easy to solo. I will say the one that I'm annoyed at soloing was the surveyor bot. I managed to throw a grenade at it when it was open. And I got the grenade inside of it before it closed and started running away. Blew it up, and it did not die. It kept going. That freaked me out a little. All right, let's go to wet palette. Bust out the white. Pro acryl white. Turns out I had more than I thought. I thought I was out of it, but here we are. And the goal here is to get it in a couple spots. Inside the actual turbine up to the outer edge. We might try to play Arc later. I had people on the podcast over the weekend say that the new playtests for Bungie's Marathon were a lot better. And still a really enjoyable game. But, like, I'm still in the notion of there's too much of, like, a negative on the initial attempt at the beta, I guess. And I know they were like, the average person doesn't care about stolen art. It's not that I think's the issue. I think it's just the fact that there is a negative strike that caused enough people to talk about it as negative. Because human beings are like pack animals, right? And we want to do something in life that we feel will connect with as many other people as possible. So if the assumption is no one's going to be playing Marathon, then that's already enough of a strike to make others be like, well, then I don't want to play it. not even about the stolen artwork at that point. It's just a thing. It's a why waste my time on something that no one else is going to play situation. Thus making it a self-fulfilling prophecy. Which kind of sucks. Like, I like art, but I think the core issue that's going around right now about it is that the hit reg and server connections are really bad. You're going to die a lot of the times to stuff that's going to make you really mad at the game. Like, genuinely angry. A lot of short form content is almost entirely centered around, right now, capturing clips of people playing where they're getting hit without actually getting hit. Like, you can clearly see in the video that, like, the bullet goes by, but then they're like, hey, you got hit, by the way. And it's so bad that yesterday, or like 2 days ago, or whenever the last time I played was, I was on a night raid and I was hearing some people fight on the floor above me, and one guy died and he just starts yelling in voice chat. He's like, oh, using the desync like an asshole, blah. Like, it was crazy. He was going ham. Or a handful of gamer words that got out there. My guess is if the hit reg kind of stays how it is, there is a shot that, like, some of the bigger streamers and content creators are going to start pointing it out way too much. And that could cause the game to sort of start collapsing a little bit. Which could suck. I definitely prefer this method over the marathon method of being like, let me choose the hero I want to play. I don't really feel the hero shooter getting, like, shoved down my throat of playing a extraction shooter. Like, it's I like the idea of being able to build your hero, which is what Arc is. I mean, you can go into a mission with a base load set of, like, special abilities and things that you apply, and then you can add, like, zip lines and specific types of grenades and stuff. You kind of make your own hero, and that's pretty cool. Again, the streamer I watch, Sput's been using the upgrade that makes it so every time he gets hit, he his, like, gear chucks a smoke grenade around it, which is pretty cool. Every time he gets into a fight, his gear is just like, smoke grenade, and he just ducks out. 8 more to go. I think with this skin tone on the mutant, we might do a violet undertone and then hit it with like almost a regular flesh tone from above. Like a contrasty flesh tone almost. So it kind of works off the violet. Either that or we hit it with like the Dread Visage flesh, which is more like purpley. Assembly line painting. It is a little soul crushing, but it's not that bad. I forget the... Yeah. Four more. So much work. I think the Screecher looks good. He's one of my favorite conversions because he was very simple. It was a very limited amount of effort making this Screecher. Let me quickly do the vents for this. my god, so close. Do like me some titanium white pro acryl. It does go on pretty effectively. Fluorescence time. Doing green here though means for the like plasma weaponry, I'm probably gonna want to do something different. bleak brotherhood. Oh, what's up, Billies? I'm working on painting. But once we get these jets done, I'm gonna be done for the day. We'll probably pick up again later. We gotta start working towards our knowledge base for a tournament coming up. Gotta look at all my opponents' teams as well as fun and interesting things I can do with Chaos Cults. So it's probably gonna be the rest of the week for me on stream. Is going over that. But outside of that, what do you mean for the Tau? Are you talking about the stealth suits? Are you talking about Tau in general as a faction? Are you talking about... I think the Tau are a necessary faction. I mean, you can only do so much with hyper-religious imagery and grimdark nature. There's got to be other things, right? And what's great about them is story-wise, the veneer that they put forward of like extreme connectedness, which is very counterintuitive to the idea of grimdark, is sort of a lie. And I think that that really works. New kill team. New kill team seems interesting. I like that the stealth suits are getting some variants. I know a lot of people in our community, or at least a small handful rather, have directly talked about wanting a stealth suit kill team because stealth suits in the Tau universe are sort of those like experimental weaponry concepts. So you should be able to get some really cool things out of them, rather than just being like straight up, this is a stealth suit, this is its gun, go. You should be able to get some like, oh, that's an interesting weapon. Oh, that's an interesting way of doing stuff. So to see that come alive in Kill Team form, that's pretty cool. Seeing that they are kind of elite, but not really. They do have that crutch of having a couple drones. Could be good. Depending on what the drones can do, of course. What's up, Taco Man? Never played Kill Team in your life, but you're going to go for the stealth suits. That's cool. Stealth suits are fun to paint. There's so many different ways of approaching it. If you're going to paint them. Like, there's people who just straight up do, like, the polygonal camo. Like the grays to blue grays with just different polygonal shapes, and they call it a day. There's people who will paint textures on the actual stealth suit to try to make it look like it's trying to imitate its surroundings. There's cool ways to do stuff like that. Jesus Christ, everyone's getting in here. The models are not out, Taco Man. We mass converted standard Raptors. Technically, the model for the jump pack Lord that you get out of the box is out because, I mean, it's just a jump pack Lord. But the Raptors themselves are not out yet. So yeah, we just mass converted the already existing Raptors to match the specialists. And then we had 4 left over to do as 2 of the Warp Talons and 2 of the Warriors, because those are going to be things. It does make me wonder if the stealth suits are going to be like flying stealth, or if they're going to be like more grounded. The old stealth suits that they had a pretty good mechanic from the Compendium team, but it sort of got outshadowed by like all the different bespoke teams that were coming out after the fact. So it'll be cool to see how they try to use it this time around. It's most likely just going to end up being super concealed, but with like an extra level when they're not concealed to have like really good cover. We'll have to see. Yeah, but what kind of flight? Because there is the pure flight that the Vespids get from being highly agile. But then there's sort of like, kind of like mini flight. Like no drop distance, plus climb distances are like always 2 or something. Like you could have a sort of like mid-tier flight experience, as opposed to being picked up and put down anywhere within a range. In theory, it is kind of better to go that route because flight doesn't work in the Gallo Dark and close quarters. If you choose to use fly to get around, you have to stop at doorways. So you have to like normal move. Like actually just regular move. Which I wonder if they move slower if they don't fly. That'd be weird. Yeah, but forcing melee while being a shooting army. That's literally the reason why people like hate Tau in 40k, is like they make everything miserable about the game. Like most of just the things you expect should work just don't work into Tau. The first time I got to play against a Tau army in a competitive situation in 10th edition, he was like bulk stealth suits and ghost keels. Like I just couldn't do anything half the time. And then half of his battle suits were in reserve. because he was a retaliation cadre. And he was hoping I'd move into weird positions and lose my vehicles to his melt-a-guns and whatnot with all their rerolls. That's genuinely the main reason a lot of people don't like Tau and 40k is like the way they're built is so anti the way 40k tends to get played against with like most armies. Oh, if you joined the server, give me a second. Hiya. And boom, and wave high, and now you can post pics. I know most people use bots to be like, say hi to the bot, and then it'll give you a rank, and then you can do stuff. I don't know. We're not a big enough community that I need to do that yet. I kind of like the idea of like checking the welcome channel and being like, hey, what's up? What I do really want them to do is keep one of the core elements that the Tau seem to get in Kill Team. Like, we don't really have a lot of, like, Tau teams. We have the Kroot team, sure, and Kroot's kind of its own thing. Like, they're a little odd. But the Tau usually have functions that are like, oh, yeah, pay a command point, and you can use your gun in melee instead. Like, you can just get to use your gun stats, but you can't, like, block or anything. I do hope they keep that flavor for the Tau. They're so reliant on guns, they'll use them in, like, the worst situations. One of the core things with stealth suits, though, in 40k is that the stealth suits are usually your units meant to mark people so that damage actually occurs. So it'll be interesting to see the mechanic maybe at stealth suit scale. Like, maybe the drones are meant to mark. And are they going to keep marker light as a sort of core rule for the team? I still think they could have done a Breachers team as a kill team, but like, there's really no reason for them to redo those models. Stealth Suit getting new models is a good idea, though. Oh, the green tone. So the goal here is to not need too much of it on the brush. Do it near the outer areas. Genuinely, though, I am more interested than anything, to see what the Raptor rules end up being. How they're gonna interact with the whole ability to pick up enemy units and move them places. The main difference between running a Chaos Lord versus a champion. I'm going to be a little annoyed if the Chaos Lord was only meant for NPO battles. I'll have a winged Chaos Lord for no reason. That'll be great. That's the real fight that could be fun. He is. He's 100% part of the box set. They show him in the information about the team coming out. He's most likely being part of it in the same way that they released the Chaos Cults team. No one at the time when the Chaos Cults team was coming out bought cultists, really. Cultists weren't that interesting in 40k, so like people just wouldn't really lean into them. Now cultists are sort of like everything. They're so useful. And in much the same way, a lot of people really don't like the Jump Pack Chaos Lord. They think he's kind of meaningless. But sure. So now you have warehouses filled with his little models kit, so they got to get rid of it somehow. Package it with Kill Team. The Patriarch was in the Brood Brothers box when it first came out, then they removed it. Because it was the same thing. It was the Brood Brothers were Brood Brothers plus the leadership box that you had to purchase to get the Patriarch that no one was buying. I feel like most of the Tau like suit paint jobs tend to be the lighter colors. They only go for like the cool paint schemes when it comes to like Shadow Sun. Kind of good though, because after Worlds we lose the and no one's talking about this really, I guess, because no one really cares, but we're losing that Sisters of Battle, like the regular team, the normal team, and then once the Raptors come out we get Sisters of Battle back. I wonder how they're gonna play. They look a little bit more armored than the Novitiates, so that could be kind of fun. Maybe they'll play a little bit more like the Hearthkin Salvagers, where you need to get some of your units killed to get more power. More power! They should hopefully do what they've been doing, where when the teams get released, they show you like paint jobs from people in the community. Then you'll probably get to see some of the cool stealth suit paint jobs. You 100% know there's going to be people who like put the effort in to really make it look like parts of the suits are turning into like mirrored what's the terrain looks like kind of concepts. The Predator shimmer. I still think the ideal for it would be to like injection mold some clear acrylic. Try and like make some of the parts have a clear acrylic alternative. That way you can like cut a leg off and then glue the clear acrylic component on at the exact same area you cut. That'd kind of be the ideal. Games Workshop did do a Ghost Squad that was entirely clear plastic. I really wish for the stealth suits they had like a clear plastic option. That way you can kind of like tape off areas on it and then hit it with your primer and everything. Dude, Thousand Sons robots are just bad in general. I'm still so sad about them. Just give me my Ozark frickin' Dreadnought, man. Or my Osiren Dreadnought. It's the only thing I want, man. Give me a psychic tank, please. This is my conversion for the worst named Raptor specialist. Behold, the Predator. This is Ozark Bone Reaper freaking axe. I still don't know what we're doing for the bases with these yet. It is based on a legion. We decided off of the list of all the legions we would do Bleak Brotherhood, but it's only kind of Bleak Brotherhood. There's an element of the Bleak Brotherhood color scheme that I don't like, and that's the fact of the matter is the armor is supposed to just be blue-black, no trim color, and then you do the green fire on the shins, the calves, the fists to the forearms, and the shoulder pads. And that's it. Like, this is technically the closest thing to a Bleak Brotherhood fully finished scheme. Because it's, then the backpack strap is platinum. The backpack itself is platinum. This is the closest thing you're getting to full Bleak Brotherhood. I do not like it. I don't like kind of the limitation that comes from that. So I was looking around, and there are people who've done Bleak Brotherhood color schemes, but have kind of upgraded and adapted it. And that's what we're leaning into a little bit with this, which is how you get this. So you get the platinum chest component, platinum backpack. You get the blue-black armor, but you do get gunmetal trim. And that's kind of the augment people do. They still do the fire and stuff, but then they do the trim as actually gunmetal. So it feels a little Night Lordy, but not. Yeah, this is Blood for the Blood God. The technical paint. It works really well. It's a very baseline thing. Alright. So. 10 Raptors. Platinum complete. The blue armor toning complete. The heat coming out of the jump packs complete. There's a little bit of touch-up work that could be done. We still have trim work to do. The piping to do. We still have to decide what color guns we want, like the weaponry, because the weaponry needs to be a little different, I think. They can't fall in line with like the blue armor. I want them to feel a little different. So there's a lot of detail work coming now, but the flat baselines of all of them seems okay. I like it. It's like a good starting point. But, like I said, I have a tournament this Sunday, so I think going forward this week, we'll be taking a look at my matchups. We'll be taking a look at the rules. We're going to be doing a little bit of war roomy stuff. And actually, like, going over what I need to do and focus on for the tournaments to try to win. Because that would be nice. That's at least leading up to that. And we might do a little bit of gaming. Specifically tonight, I want to go out for a walk. I want to get dinner real quick. And then I might come back, boot up. Know a lot of you guys are over on YouTube. There is a Twitch, same name. There's also a Discord where I'll announce that I'm going live over on Twitch. We might play a little Ark tonight for a few hours. I'm kind of feeling it. But I do got to get a couple things done. So we might as well get moving on that. Because either way, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for chilling. Maybe we, let me take a look at, actually, let me take a look real quick at your, ooh, you made it look like a tree? Oh, it's coming out under a tree. Neat. Always fun to have mural-based units. Pretty cool. Yeah, we might be back. So until then, later.